Hello, good morning, good morning. Just flip through my things here. Discord overlay. Yeah, okay. All right. Well, I got my scene set up. I got my materials prepped today. I'm gonna do things a little different. I'm gonna be doing my study later today, and I can't stream for 4 solid hours anymore. So I am going to be looking at some of the brand new features of Photoshop in beta version. Hold on one second. Hey, any of you guys going to join me over in the live on Twitch channel?
Sure. I mean, I don't have much. I don't have much to offer. You sure you want me there?
Yeah. Whatever. Because I'm over here talking to myself because I'm going to be looking at like the weird Photoshop stuff.
I'll come in. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Now I got some company. Alrighty. So let's see.
Ask and you shall receive, Pete.
Well, thank you guys for joining me. Appreciate it. Let me pull up my Twitch. The chat is not up correctly over here. All right. Now I got my chat set up. All right. Now I'm prepared. I think I'm fully prepared. Okay. So you guys, were any of you here when I was testing out the new Photoshop beta version before?
I wasn't here.
All right. So Photoshop, Adobe Photoshop. We're all familiar with it. We all love it, right? Yeah.
Right.
Oh my god. And so I got the new version. I got the beta version up. The beta version is the one that's got all of the awesome new AI tools. Because like before they had these like AI filters, right? Like let's see, up here we've got. Where were these? I remember Ash looking at them. Oh, neural filters. God, the interface on these new features is trash.
Hey, Pete, would you mind streaming on Discord so we can watch in real time?
Thank you. There you go.
Let's go.
All right.
Okay.
So there's two ways that AI is being integrated into Photoshop in the new beta version. One of them is through neural filters, where it's like they're like they don't have like they're not filters in the filter menu, but for some reason they're not in their own menu. So they've kind of threaded the difference to try to put the neural filters into like this other section of the website, or not the website, of the thing. Now it's like my fucking menu bar has gone away and I can't. Okay, I'm just gonna say cancel. Get out of here. Okay, the entire interface for the whole program goes away when you enter the neural filters menu under the filters menu.
Weird.
Which is kind of crazy, right? Like, okay, but we're gonna do that. Neural filters, hit me with the big ass neural filters, right? So what do we got?
I want them all.
Skin smoothing, smart portrait. What the fuck is this before and after?
That's terrible.
The teeth on their demo image looks gnarly. All right.
Yeah.
I think we get a makeup transfer. Oh my god.
What the fuck?
Yeah. I don't think I'm not prepped to handle these. I didn't look these up ahead of time. This is an authentic React here.
Are these preset filters?
This is the neural filters in the beta version of Photoshop. This is Photoshop's new AI tool set that I'm on the beta for right now. I don't have any special permissions. And then we got wait list features. I'm interested. Portrait generator, so random NPC generator. Water long exposure? What? That's a weird one. I feel like that's the sort of thing you can do with regular Photoshop filters, to be honest. Shadow regenerator.
No, that's just like shadow bomb your shit.
Whoa, what am I looking at? Like regenerate shadow direction and global lighting in your image. That's potentially interesting, but in a way that like I don't feel like this image demonstrates. And then noise reduction, which I mean that's actually like, okay, this is the easiest thing that you could do in AI because ultimately what an AI image generator is doing is it is a noise reduction filter that's been turned up to 1,000%, because it's like typically it starts off with like full Perlin noise, and then it's like asks itself, okay, well, I'm gonna make changes to like all these pixels, and then like in an effort to try to make it look like 1% more like an apple or whatever you're asking for. And it's constantly checking its current state against its reference material to see like how it can make tiny corrections to get closer and closer to the original reference, kind of the way that an artist does. But, you know, with an artist, you have like a rough drawing, and then you like notice all the little corrections you could make, all the brush strokes you can add in order to like refine it down a little more. Because it thinks about it in like this purely machine way, it's able to do that from like a total noise pattern. So a noise reduction is like just the algorithm being run at like a fraction of its potential power, because the math that's behind image generation is literally just a noise reduction filter. So I don't know why it's a waitlisted feature. That should be like the most default feature there is on something like this.
And
But I don't
also,
know.
like Topaz Labs Gigapixel, like upscaler does that already. Like it's nothing.
Yeah, no, I've got Gigapixel. It's fucking awesome. It's a Gigapixel's Gigapixel's actually really good as a tool for like, because like there's all sorts of situations where I need to upscale my stuff. Like I took a portrait image and I reformatted it for landscape, but I had it at a low resolution because it was just for like for a wallpaper. But then I want to print it on a playmat, and I need to get it like 4 times the resolution. So instead of repainting it again, but at 4 times the resolution, I can upscale it as like a start that'll get me 80 to 90% of the way there. It's fantastic.
And it's like really good too. Like you know,
its main
sometimes
drawback is
a
it's
little
like
carried away.
$100 and it's kind of specialized.
Yeah,
But
And
anyways.
sometimes it gets carried away, but if you can like reel it back in, it's amazing.
Yeah. And then, okay, Photoshop, we got the creative suite here. Backdrop, collaborate with the power of AI to generate expressive backdrops, textures, and patterns on whatever you describe. We're going to download that. Figure out the fuck that is. Landscape mixer. Oh, I want to try that. Because we're going to do these. The idea is that we're going to do these on my paintings. So we're going to try out style transfer. I'm not going to fuck with that, no. That's like if you want to make something that like looks like an AI, like not looks like AI, like you take a photo, you say like I want it to look like a Peter Mohrbacher painting, but of this thing. You can theoretically. Okay, I should probably download this. Actually, this is like annoying and stupid, but like as soon as I said it out loud, I was like, yeah, we should try that. Harmonize the color and luminosity of one layer to another to make a flawless composite. Interesting, but maybe not what we're going for today. Color transfer. Oh, yeah, I want to see that. Colorize. Yeah, give me that shit. Oh my god, these are all so big. You have to download them, and then I think they run over the internet connection too. Zoom in and let the. So this is just the upscaler, which Ash and I tried the Photoshop upscaler head to head against Gigapixel, and Gigapixel absolutely blew Photoshop out of the water. And it's not that interesting. It's super technical and annoying. Depth blur, nah. JPEG artifact removal. That does not appear to be what it's. The before and after does not depict JPEG artifacting, but whatever. And photo restoration. Okay. None of these are that interesting. So this is the neural filters. We're going to take a look at those. And then the other thing that is was really interesting. The reason why I want to do this today, I'm going to like let this download, and I'm going to say okay, and like, oh, there's like this is new beta. Let's see. So we're gonna do we turn these on? Prompts will be processed and used. Cloud usage. Apply. Everything is grayed the fuck out. Why? This filter cannot be enabled while other filters are active. Okay. Okay, I don't know what the exact deal with this is, but we're going to ignore it. All right. Photoshop is got this new feature, generative. It's got the generative fill, and it's got this generative outpainting. And I was playing around with this a little bit because I need to do outpainting like all the time. Like sometimes it's like I'm redoing the composition on an image and I want to be able to see like some extra space on it. Like let's say I wanted to turn this into a landscape piece. If we were to crop it, it's going to look like total trash. Like let's say I want to turn this into a landscape piece for like a YouTube thumbnail. The options we get are to either crop it or we do outpainting. And it's funny, outpainting was a thing that I did for years and years manually because I was always needing to reformat my images for different purposes. And then AI came along and gave a name to it. So now they call it AI outpainting, but I mean, I don't think anybody was doing outpainting before. Holy shit, I wasn't even trying to run it, but it ran on its own. It decided it was going to outpaint for me. And so it's giving me like way more space. It's interesting. Like this is, I think, probably the point where Photoshop is AI tools is like doing the most because it almost feels right. Like as far as like if I were just trying to, typically when I do outpainting, I need to like first things first. I need to like fill the empty space. Like I'm gonna go in here. And the way I typically fill space when I'm doing outpainting is I'll make copies of the layer. I don't know why it resized the canvas when I made a new layer. And I'll do something like this. And this is pretty lame. This is pretty bad. Or I'll do something like this. Oh, they changed the controls for how to move the handles around in Photoshop. Because the goal is to try to get like I don't want to have to deal with transparent pixels. I want a fully opaque background, but I also want to kind of like rough in where the colors are going to be. Or I might take pieces of the, oh my God. I might take like pieces of the composition and do something like this. So I got like more of the blue across the top. And I've got this sort of grass that's kind of across the bottom. And so I have a little bit of a suggestion of a ground plane. I have like this mountain. You could, if you trace just looking at the mountains, so like you're like, okay, well I see where the mountains could be. I could see where the clouds are. I can see where the top of the sky is. But like we have these big chunks of shit that need to get painted out. And so like I will go through and manually brush out all of the places where the seams don't match and then add in extra detail and make it so things that are stretched or don't look stretched anymore. And I can usually do one of these images in about an hour or two. And I'll just sit there and it's so mindless because there's not really new content being added to the image. It's really just me trying to clone over the style, the colors, and the different like background elements in order to try to like change the composition around. But then Photoshop now has this thing that you do it with one click and it does a version that is like, I would say these two are kind of comparable in the sense that like they're filling space. There's no transparent pixels. It's all opaque, but also they both look like shit. Like one of the big problems here is like the colors are crazy. Like the colors are starting to get like really gross and muddy through here. Also, the generative fill comes through at like a mega low resolution. You can see that as soon as it cuts from the main image over to the new generative stuff, it gets really blurry really fast. Everywhere where there's a sharp edge, it gets really blurry and pixely, and there's a lot of strange noise patterns. If you look up close, you can see these vertical stripes throughout it. It almost looks like it's a bad print job where it's got like a print head that is like getting dirty and is leaving marks as the print head goes back and forth. So it's really weird digital artifacts going on in addition to it being fairly low resolution. So it would maybe work as an underpainting, but it absolutely is not acceptable as like a default like result. I might do this and then go and repaint every inch of it. It's fine, but maybe not a huge time saver. And that's, I think, that's the best I've seen so far. Because what I really want to do from here is I want to start adding in some brand new content, Photoshop style. Let's have a giant dragon emerging from over this mountaintop, right?
Oh boy.
Yeah. So what are we going to do for our description here? We're going to say, we want the dragon to be kind of filling up a big chunk of the composition over here. He's flying over the mountain, right? So let's see.
If it works like Midjourney, I do like dragon flying over mountain, comma big, comma red, comma. I don't know how it works. Is it like Midjourney?
Yeah, we don't know. So let's do it. Let's let you drive here.
Yeah, I would go dragon flying over mountain, comma big, comma fantasy, comma red,
Big,
and just see what you get.
Boom. Let's hit it. Generate.
I'm like really curious.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Like, okay, so this is the future of art right here. We're witnessing the future. Hold your breath. It's about to happen. You're about to. Okay.
Sure. Yeah. Why?
Oh wait,
Okay, so it's
click on the other one.
Let's look at the other. Okay. Give us 3 options. Give us 3 options. Okay, so the first one's a dud. Let's see the next one. Oh hell yeah, dude! Fucking flying sausage.
Wow. That's not even a start. That's an intestinal lining. That's nothing.
Okay, that's work. The
Watch out, artists! Watch out, artists! We're coming for your jobs. All right. Well, okay. Let's give it another shot. All right. Let's give it another shot. Let's try another image here. What do we want to add to this guy right here?
Someone else can take the reins on this one.
Yeah, give me a prompt. Chat, you're welcome to pitch me a prompt also.
Give him a big staff in his right arm and his left arm.
His left arm, this one here.
Yep.
So
Give him a spell book.
a spell book. Okay, yeah, that will cover less territory.
I'm going to say this is going to fail no matter what because AI doesn't understand space. So it's not going to know where to put that spell book. It doesn't know that you're putting it in his.
All right. Okay. Let's not preemptively judge this thing. All right. Give me a prompt and let's see what it does. That's what we're doing.
Go ahead, Alejandro.
All right.
Alejandro, give me a prompt.
Actually, yeah. Let's go with the book. All right.
Okay.
Let's put hand gripping book.
Hand gripping book.
Oh man.
Hell yeah.
My God.
Dude,
I'm
the future is here.
Wait, hold on. That's like actually a huge step though.
Well, let's see some options. This one almost.
Yes.
Saying yes, like you're like, yeah, we're making it.
No, God, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, okay, it's so like
all right.
the big problem.
Double John says hand gripping a severed head. Let's try this. I'm gonna try this again. I'm gonna give Photoshop another shot here. Come on.
You can make fun of me all you want.
I'm gonna hand grip. I don't think hand gripping is ultimately like the best way to start this prompt. Hand gripping severed head. Hey Yori, if you know anything about this new we violated the user guidelines. All right, hand holding staff. I think we need to have it large enough of a selection to give us a staff. So like
I'm surprised there's guidelines here.
Hand holding let's call it a wizard staff. Let's make it also a digital illustration because we do want to maintain the style, right? We don't want of hand holding a wizard staff. Generate. Blow my goddamn mind, Photoshop. Bring me to Valhalla.
What is its training data set? Like, what is it trained on?
They took all of the images from Adobe stock and also from Behance.
Oh no.
because everyone gave them permission to. Hey, this is the
Whoa.
closest we've gotten to success. This is getting there.
Okay, so like
Whoa.
my excitement wasn't that it looks good. My excitement is that you can taking a localized thing, and it is like kind of presenting you with what you're asking for in some relative way, which is something that Midjourney can't do. So this is like definitely an interesting step to me.
Yet, you're saying yet. I mean yet.
Yet, correct.
Is Midjourney going to be able to select areas and replace them with stuff?
Yes, it's actually coming very soon. They've talked about it in their stream.
Okay, so they've talked about it. Yes, I can say for sure it's a beta feature. All right, that's almost a thing. Like that. Congratulations, Photoshop.
Yeah.
You managed to insert a stick. It took me masking it back out again, but there's almost a hand holding a stick. It's like the right color hand. It's got a real pose and everything.
Hey, it's coming for your job, Pete.
Dude, it's coming for me personally. Here, you want to see something really? You want to see something that actually blows my mind a little bit? This is like, okay, so you asked the right question. Where is the training data coming from? And the answer is Adobe Stock and Behance. Meaning, me as a Behance user, my art is in the training set. Same as with Midjourney. Same as with Stable Diffusion. I'm in those training sets too. You can use my name and get some approximation of my style. So let's do this. Let's do a
Mohrbacher
cool
style.
angel head in the style of Peter Mohrbacher. That's me.
I'm curious if
Oops. It violates the guidelines.
Wow.
And I've done this before. I just want to do this for demonstration purposes. It violates the guidelines because you're not allowed to use people's names in the prompts. If it's a proper name, you're not allowed to use it. So here's the thing, is like all the other AIs allow me to use my own training data. Photoshop does not. Photoshop is taking my art, but not allowing me to use it. Like, people have been very fussed about the idea that like artists are having their art stolen, which is like one side of the kind of intersection here. The other thing that's intersecting is like artists are also able to use their work inside these spaces. Like the idea is like everyone's included. Right now they're doing this thing where like they're using the artist's work, my work, but they're not allowing me access to my own stuff, my own style.
That's an
let's try the name Angelarium. Fijoto's got a good suggestion here. Cool Angelarium head.
That's
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're getting a guidelines violation, but whoa.
Wow.
I
Mind-blowing.
don't know what we're fucking looking at. It looks kind of like a ceiling lamp, like one of those boob lights.
It took the root word arium, like terrarium, and then it did angel, and so it's making like an angel world.
You think it's a terrarium? You think it's like a bad
Yeah, I think it's
terrarium?
supposed to be like an angel terrarium.
It looks like
yeah.
a boob lamp.
Well, you're wrong.
Okay, let's try something else. Let's try a fantasy illustration of a epic fantasy helmet. Oh my god, come on.
Yeah, I'm like curious. Like, I don't want to waste your time, but if I had Photoshop, I'd definitely play around with see how it handles word weight.
Oh my god, I love this guy. This is the best result I've ever gotten from this. This is awesome. It's like behaving for the crowd. Hell yeah. Maybe I'm getting better at prompting it. I love how big it is.
Well, fantasy holds like a ton of like key weight.
Yeah?
And like that's why I kind of think like prompt engineering is fun because you can like figure out how you can really get the AI to behave because like you're really just giving it a suggestion, but some suggestions like definitely have more weight. And so like when you think about it that way, you can get some like pretty cool things by negative weighting. But this seems like really new and infantile to like Photoshop. So like I don't know how
this is
actually
I would say these results are largely worse than any model I've ever used, including ones that are like multiple years old. Like I would say this is worse than Disco Diffusion. This is worse than Midjourney version 1. Let's see what he.
You think worse than Midjourney 1?
Wait,
I think it's worse than Midjourney 1.
That's wild. That's a hot
take. He tried to try this. Put a cool angel head in a surrealist artist style.
Cool angel head in a.
Yeah.
Todd Curry Murmur says Todd McFarlane Shovel Knight. That's the right take. That's 100% right.
Yikes.
This is what Hazmed looks like with her helmet off. Oops, I accidentally fuck. All right, I didn't want to delete that. Okay. Oh, so epic.
No.
Oh my god, hell yeah.
Oh no.
What a daddy.
Oh my
take her on
god.
a date.
Yeah. Fucking slaps, dude. Hell yeah. I think everyone here who's like out here doing dailies, it can paint better than this Photoshop beta. Jay, I think you haven't done a lot of painting, but I think I would put you up against one-on-one with the Photoshop generative fill, and I would be curious to see you could do better because I my money's on you, man.
Thanks, pal.
I have confidence you can do better than this. This is big, like monkey Jesus energy. You know what I'm talking about? Let's no. This we're gonna do this. We're gonna right the history's greatest wrong. All right.
Now, like, I have like another question though. Can you reference images? Like, that's like that. This is what I've talked about with Midjourney is like the big issue that artists should have with Midjourney is that the ability to like reference like an existing piece of art, and you can use the URL of it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, what is that?
Monkey Jesus. So this is okay. This is a story. This is funny. Monkey Christ brought new life to quiet Spanish town. So there's this old lady who saw this deteriorating portrait of Jesus that was on the wall of the church. It was aging and deteriorated. So she went to go touch it up and make some corrections. And we've all been there. We went a little too hard on the corrections and, got a little too ambitious with the smoothing. Some of the features started to drift. And then this is what the local church had on its wall by the end of the process.
Let's go, Monkey Jesus.
Yeah. And so it became a little bit of a meme, a little bit of an icon. And this woman's heart was 100% in the right place. And I would say the fact that she's willing to pick up a paintbrush and do something about this puts her ahead of everybody else in that town who was just sitting there watching this thing deteriorate. Good on her for trying, but the results not so great. This is what, to me, like a lot of these Photoshop things, I wonder if Photoshop can do a better job with this. Like if we give this as the starting point, what it's going to do. I'm trying to find a really good example. We got pretty low resolution, so. I just flipped back to that. I got an eye full. All right, first off, let's go to the neural filters and see if we can upscale this bad boy. We get deep into the Photoshop stuff here. Super zoom. Oh, okay. We're gonna use all the AI. Okay. Let's say enhance, remove JPEG artifacts. Yeah. Drag to reframe image. I don't want that. Does it tell me how much it's going to Zoom it.
No, just fuck around and find out.
If I oh wait now we're at what? Okay, it's just it's having a hard time. Okay, 100%. Hit me. Okay, boom. All right, so now we've AI upscaled this image here, pretty good. And now we are going to ask it for a very good painting of Jesus. I don't know if this is going to violate the terms of service.
It would have already, right?
Yeah, I think it would have already dumped out if it was going to.
IOR asked an interesting question. He said, does it help if you paint in something first, like before prompting staff? Is it better if you paint in a quick staff first? Probably.
Good question. Let's give it a shot. But yeah, not bad, actually. Not bad. Points to the AI for cleaning this one up. Not exactly like the original, but
no, not at all.
Not too bad. Like, I would say I'm going to give this one 1 point to Photoshop. Okay.
Photoshop just put out one local artist wherever she was at, and now she can no longer do monkey Jesus faces. And I think that's sad. I think we've put out real talent.
All right. So what I want to do is I want to put a goblet in Sahakiel's hand here. So I'm going to draw in a little rough goblet. Oh. Hard round brush. Oh, I'm gonna have to build my brush from scratch. Just take 1 second here. No, not brushes. I want brush settings. Here we go. So spacing. Oh, it defaults to 5% now. That's nice. Shape dynamics, control pen pressure. Oh, the Photoshop beta is not reading pen pressure from my tablet because the drivers aren't configured correctly. So I think I fixed it in CC, but it's not fixed in the beta. So I'll have to do this without pen pressure, which is fine. So we're just going to do a rough little goblet here, right?
The thumbnail of the stream in Discord has the famous refurbishing of that painting of Jesus by that random old lady.
Oh, that's excellent. That's very good. Okay.
Jazz, how are you?
Okay.
I'm good.
All right. So now we got ourselves. This is the rough goblet here, and now we're gonna say generative fill. I want to say painted. I'm gonna say. I guess I'd say
Just go with fantasy and illustration. Definitely need to be included in the prompt.
fantasy illustration of a hand holding a golden goblet.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Let's do it. Yeah, I tried to replace the hand holding a goblet the other day because I was doing a painting with a hand holding a goblet, and so that's where it started. That's where the meme started. All right, I don't think it's any better because like it's not even attempting to get like the.
Hey, at least the hand isn't like a weird alien hand.
Yeah, it's like performing better than it was the other day. I feel like it's doing better than it was.
So, question.
Yeah.
Could you do the AI thing over the same image multiple times to render it better?
Oh, you want to try? Okay, sure. Let's give that a shot. So let's say I should have copied the prompt, right? Oh, the layer name is the prompt actually, so I can do that. So what happens if we generate it over the generation? Yeah, adding digital painting seemed to help because if you don't say digital painting, the default style is this guy got a big muscular arm growing out of him. Did you see this? It's the little guy here who got the arm and he's got these fingers that are all like wrapped up like this. This is like an artist rendering of like a child's drawing of a hand. This is awesome. So yeah. Is it running offline mode or is the computer on the servers? Well, I can't turn my internet off right now on stream. to test, unfortunately. So I think it's running over the web. It does require all the neural filters force you to download something. So I think it's connecting to a server in order to do the computation and like beaming it back and forth. I wonder if that's one of the reasons why it's so low res. But yeah, like because my computer is not like running overdrive. Comic Stand says web, yeah. I'm pretty sure this is running through the web. All right, let's see what else we can do here. Oh my God, I love giving them the heads. I love giving them new heads. If you don't just start to define, if you just say like portrait of a person.
What would happen if you use your own name in the prompt?
It gives a violation. It doesn't allow me to use my own name.
Okay.
They have taken my artwork for training data, but they won't let me use my own name. These are not as bad as I expected. You know? Huh?
It would be cool if you could get a license since you are the actual artist in it.
Yeah, maybe. This is like, this is so awesome.
You can post these on Twitter and Instagram. Be like, do you guys like my new pieces?
Yeah, I'd be like, I'm switching over to AI full time. So what else should we have here? Let's say we're gonna have the offering here be a turkey dinner. Does it allow IPs? Like, could you just say Bloodborne Hunter head and get some sort of funny Victorian hat? Curry, you're asking all the good questions. Oh my God, that worked so good. Like, this was working so bad the other day, and now we're getting like the best. We're getting the best results. It is behaving so well for you guys. I want to see the IP. I'm gonna give that a try. Let's see. Like Bloodborne Hunter head. Random question, just downloaded Photoshop, was using CSP. Are there some settings I should be aware of? Oh man. Oh, did it give me an error? It didn't like it. It did have the word blood in it. So let's say like let's say Mickey Mouse head.
Well, Mickey Mouse isn't what's it called? Copyrighted anymore, like the older one.
I typoed it hard. I don't know what I typoed. I'm not paying attention. I'm bad at typing on stream.
Oh, the stream really makes a difference, huh?
Oh no.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's a
but
mouse
that's
head. I wouldn't
Mickey
say
Mouse.
this is
Oh,
Mickey
that's why it's
Mouse.
cool.
I think this is
Oh,
fucking sick, dude. This is
That one
great.
goes hard.
I
Damn.
wonder if it does better with animals as a whole.
Yeah, it's doing like a really good job compared to where it was. So maybe I just got like a bad run or something. Like I was getting a lot that were like the flying sausage style. Like when we were getting did I delete that? When we were getting the flying sausage, that was the best. Cuz it really doesn't like drawing dragons. Because I was doing it on this one, and I was like, on epic fantasy. Like, now it's going to behave. It's going to give me, like, the best fucking dragon ever. I'm here to clown on it, and it's, like, outperforming. Okay.
Bro.
This almost looks correct. Before, I was getting nothing but flying sausages. Like yesterday, or like a couple days ago, I was getting nothing but flying sausages whenever I was like asking for a dragon in the background of a painting. And now it's like almost dragon shaped.
Okay. Yeah.
Almost,
I don't know.
it's Oh my god. It's still pretty bad. It's still very
Yeah.
clip arty.
Yo, please remove that.
I'm leaving that. This has gotta be my new PFP. She's got like a dick on her head. Like look, there's like just the balls and it's like a little dick coming down
Oh
there.
man, it's so bad. It's
I
like-
love this guy. This one feels
Yeah.
good too because like the color palette's kind of good. Like it's doing some interesting stuff with like subtle color shifts that I think actually really match the piece. I'm into this.
I want that to be my PFP, like a
This
Pete
guy-
Mohrbacher painting with a mouse head. That's like right there. That's what I want.
It does. It seems to scan its surroundings to try to get the color palettes right. It's not super good at it, but it's decently good.
It's trying.
Let's
Thanks,
try
Beth.
some other good ones. I mean, what else should this guy have for a head?
Goat man head.
Goat man head.
Goat man head.
Goat man head. I mean,
Oh.
it's a goat.
Oh.
It's
The
definitely a
colors
goat.
on this one are bad. This is this.
Okay.
The colors here are good. The pose is bad.
Nah.
Try again. See how it gives. See what it gives you.
Just round two. Come on.
I wonder if like I wonder how well it knows fantasy things. Like if I said Minotaur or Satyr or like Gollum or like anything fantasy, because it's all taken from clip from like what is it taken from again?
Adobe stock.
Yeah, it's probably not
Abstract Batman. Wait, it had a pop-up that showed it for a second and then went away. These are bad. These are lame.
very well. Yeah, real
Um,
bad.
Trash with you. Abstract Batman. I don't know what that is going to mean. It seems to understand that there's a head coming off of shoulders, right?
It does, yeah. It like definitely sees the neck and like all that other jazz. It's interesting.
Medusa head. That's interesting. Because you're asking, does it know mythological figures? I think Medusa is pretty specific.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ah, that's not a head. I mean, there's something in there. Yo, that's kind of fire, actually. Like,
I ain't gonna lie, that's pretty sick.
yeah, that's a pretty interesting design. I'm like kind of into that. I'm gonna leave that one. That one's, but let's leave that there to just rediscover later. I'm gonna try maybe seeing if we can get the Medusa head here. Like that's the thing about AI stuff is it's pretty random. So every once in a while it'll catch you off guard.
Oh yeah,
Yo.
that's a Medusa, if I've ever seen one.
Yo,
It cannot do Medusa.
it doesn't. I mean,
Oh, it's probably because of Medusa jellyfish or whatever.
oh, you think so?
That's what's going on. Yeah.
Dude,
One of those
fantasy
looks
Medusa.
jellyfishy, right?
So yeah, like
Yeah.
should you
This
put
is
in
like a
like
monkey.
Greek, like snake, and then like hair, and like that thing into the prompt, make it more specific.
Oh, okay, let's try to get specific.
Add
Me-
fantasy in there for sure.
Medusa head.
Fantasy Medusa head
Snake hair.
with snakes for hair. Like one of the things about AI prompting is that like different models have different ways of parsing text input. And so like over the course of the different versions of Midjourney, they've played around with different like text input like styles. What? Oh, it's so like snakes for hair, like it could just cut out like the four and just be like snake hair, like you got one hair that's snakes.
That's
This
pretty
is
interesting.
it's kind of interesting in a really
It's a
grotesque
Medusa
sort of
hair.
way.
We're just one big snake, basically.
There was one.
Hello, I have a big snake coming out of my head. What's up?
So there was one of the neural filters, like Ash and I were playing around with, where it was like you could, I think it was the smart portrait, because you could like reposition the head a little bit. So I want to take like the head of this like weird thing, whatever we're looking at here, and see if I can like tilt it a little bit to like match the perspective better. What do you get when you block out the area above to update above the nose? Give it only half the head to play with. All right. Like, yeah, I wonder, like, we've got some missing data in here, right? Like, this is an excellent question. We're getting some very, very good participation from the chat today. So instead of doing the square marquee, I'm going to lasso in here. So we got this face. So I'm going to say a young man's face in a fantasy art style. You can see what Kokabio looks like. Oh, hell yeah, it did it. Oh my god. Yo, fucking crazy. So it's definitely looking outside the area of the selection to try to create context. Oh, whoa.
Wait, back out. I want to see how these looks from far away. I like the first one.
The first one's pretty good. Let's we can lasso in. Can we like lasso? Is this a smart object, or can we? I'd probably need to rasterize. I'm gonna make a copy and rasterize this. There we go. And I'm gonna collapse that mask too. Apply layer mask. There we go. Like, the proportions aren't exactly right, but like, we are getting, that's like a starting point. Jay, do you still think you could beat this thing in a sort of John Henry style competition of man versus machine?
I mean, I don't fucking know, man. How much time do I get?
It's doing it in about 10 seconds.
Okay, then yeah, it's got me beat for sure. What the fuck? It put me out of my artist job, Pete. I'm gonna throw a fit.
Well, you know, you were trying to commission art to make like minis and stuff. So now, you know, maybe you can like use Photoshop to like get your way there. So that's not bad. Like, as a starting point, I feel like I could have drawn that myself in about the same amount of time. But for somebody who is like bad at drawing, if you had a figure with no face and you needed to add a face on it, you would have a starting point that wasn't 100% terrible. But you'd still have to work with it, right?
So the big issue I actually ran into, like, because I really did give it a good shot, AI, to like create my concept for things. It's just not language based enough at this very moment to be like good enough for what I'm doing. Because once I start getting into the minutia of things, like, I don't want to hand a concept artist an AI concept, be like, okay, redo this, but then add this, this, and this. That just seems like I'd rather just start with the concept artist at that point. So I don't know. And I've liked the process of working with a human quite a bit. So I don't know, it's hard to say.
So I don't have my brushes or whatever. This is just a plain round brush with no pressure sensitivity, but I turned the opacity and the flow down a little bit so I could get a little bit of blendiness. It's just the main thing is it's just at full size. So Yeah, I could paint that in. I would not ever use this for anything. But yeah, not. I guess if you prompt it right, maybe that's what I've been missing out on the whole time.
Yeah, prompting is like a huge part of like like generative art. That's what you want to call it.
All right, let's try this again. Let's see if we can give him a normal looking hand. Fantasy painting. That would be his right hand. Yo! Oh, look at that. The color. There's the colors. He's doing a cool thing with his hand. Is he playing? Is it that big game where you try to like make people look at your hand when you're making this expression? Also,
do a bad job.
why? I mean, I'm like, whenever I look at it, I'm like, does he have the wrong number of fingers? But he technically, I'm like counting them. I'm like 1, 2. That I think it's just that pinky is like off on an adventure.
Yeah.
Huh. Alright. It is in fact the right hand too. So it's got an insane pose. I wouldn't use this as a starting point for fucking anything. I think that a year down the line, if they get way more training data, this might work. It might work. I don't know. It's like there's like a part of me, like the part of the reason I'm thinking about this is because it's like this idea of being able to like let's say you have a work in progress and you're like, you have a rough blocked in thing and you just want to be like, can you show me what it would look like with rendering? Or like, can we try that black and white piece but like with a color palette on it? Like I'm gonna take one of my black and white pieces and see what it does if we try to add colors to it.
That's the one I was particularly interested in because that has a lot of use cases that are like quite practical.
Yeah.
It seems like the best use case for this right now is for YouTube thumbnails.
There's a lot of YouTube thumbnails that are done by Midjourney right now, and I'm definitely spotting them. All right, so what was it? We were looking at the neural filters, right? They're neural filters that had a colorize or something.
I'm like curious if you can give
colorize.
it like, what is it a prompt?
Yeah. Oh, it just goes. Auto color image. Let's turn that off. Okay. Profile.
Wait,
they all say retro. Retro faded. I'm not sure if it's working. Oh, we've temporarily disabled this filter because of an error. Okay.
Like you can change the saturation. Yeah, like play. Oh, does it do anything?
Yeah, there it goes.
Oh, this looks like it does a better job than gradient maps.
I actually like.
It's doing a different thing than gradient maps. Oh. There we go. Look at this. It's like a little. It's weird. It's like I'm doing the color balance thing. It's kind of like color balancing the whole image, but like it's treating different zones differently. Color artifact reduction, noise reduction, output as color layer. Ooh. Okay, so there's a color layer that we can then, just do a color layer over the top of it, which, as I've said before, is like the craziest way that you could add color to an image. Let's try. God, it gets me every fucking time. It's so harsh. I'm just gonna leave it there. This is the fucking trap card. Ugh. So bad.
man. It is like actual nightmare fuel, and it actually keeps scaring me every time you just randomly.
It keeps scaring me every time it happens.
I'm
Guys,
like,
I
holy
gotta-
fuck, what is that?
Yeah. All right.
I'm gonna go. Bye, guys.
All right,
I'm
see-
having trouble concentrating on my work with a ridiculous face.
All right. Let's see ya.
Bye.
Scared Jazz out of here for good. Okay, so I'm gonna desaturate this, and then I'm gonna hit it with the neural filter.
And like also, I'm very curious if you have something that's less rendered. Like you've created a full grayscale here, obviously, right?
Yeah.
If you handle something more that's really decent.
That's not decent.
I think that's.
Let's tweak it. Let's see if we can get it to decent.
What's
It's like
wrong
the
with
whole
that?
thing's red. I mean, this is better. Like there's so much red. Like there's no color separation between the skin tone and like the cloth.
Sure, fine. What happens if you hand it something that's less rendered, like a sketch?
Oh, like a pencil sketch?
Does it start adding in its own like value ranges, or is it just going to block in color?
No, it's just adding color.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, this thing in particular is just adding color. Give me them neural filters. Give it to me. All right. Wait, now it's just a layer. The fuck? I thought it was pulling up the neural filters tab. Oh, I'm gonna do this one because this one's got a weird color palette. All right. Filter, neural filters. Oh, that's a repeat filter. Shit. What's it doing? It's like doing weird shit to my computer. Oh, it's the same. Oh, wait. All right. Filter, neural filters. I'm still on this call, right?
Yeah.
Thing's stressing out my machine.
Yep.
Colorize, yeah.
Don't love it. Oh wait, it's doing it. So this is it running over the top of an already colored image.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's trying to find color zones based off of like its like figure recognition system. I can tell because it's like filling in that halo, like portions of the interior of the halo. So it's drawing a mask first, and it's masking separate areas out, and then it's treating different colors for each of them based off of whatever like thing it thinks is like the right choice. I think it's trying to put pink over here because it's like it's a person. I think it's trying to make skin tone. It's trying to communicate with us, you guys. Ugh. I keep wanting to like turn the cyan way up to try to get rid of whatever it's doing with the skin tones. Yeah, no thank you. Okay, here's what one of the things I wanted to try. We're going to take this, and instead of having it auto color it, filter. Oh my god, the interface for this is such trash. Color transfer beta.
Oh, color transfer.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Select an image. Select an image from computer. Dropbox. I'm going to do a lower resolution. I'm not going to pick a high-res image. It's like my computer is... Oh, it's looking for a PNG. Here, can we JPEG? These are JPEGs.
Who the fuck uses PNG? I actually don't know.
Wait, PNG and JPEG, what's the difference?
One of them's compressed and one isn't. Oh,
Okay.
okay. It thinks those are different. All right, great. Um, what color palette do we want to add to this? Let's give it the Cocabule palette.
Yeah, for sure.
Color Space Lab. Whoa! Let's try a different one. Oh, we can do ones that are already open. It's got the head in it. Oh. I left the bits open here. It's not particularly snappy. Yo. Not okay.
Yeah, not so great.
I don't love it.
I liked the basic like color fill it was doing before.
I wonder what's the difference between that and the match color function that Photoshop already has.
Match color? Oh, I haven't messed with that.
So it looks, I don't know how different it will be, but it looks like it will be about the same. I don't know.
Does it allow you to select the entire image or just...
It's 2001 all over again.
I was kind of hoping for more like a North by Northwest sort of vibe. But yeah. Oh my god. I've got to get it to stop giving me like these huge tooltips or whatever it's doing.
Oh wow, look at the image I put in has color though.
Oh, it does have bits of color, yeah. I can take the color out. Yeah, it's like, I don't know, like, so these things tend to evolve pretty fast when they're on a good track. I just like, okay, so there's going to be tools integrated alongside a painting program over the course of the next years. We already have the shittiest version of it ever happening right now, right? All right. I'll see you later, Dustin. The absolute shittiest version of it is in Photoshop right now in the beta. I don't think I could use this for anything, but there are generative tools that allow you to kind of select areas on a canvas and just sort of insert them into the canvas. It's working right now. It's not a plugin. It's not a third-party thing. It's not a hack. It's just like, this is the program. And so I think there's going to be more of these. And like, there's two sides of it. There's going to be like painting programs like Photoshop and CSP that are adding in generative tools into their tool set. In this way, it's like particularly awkward. And then we could also see, like, what if Midjourney made a desktop program that like allowed you to generate stuff, but also was like a painting program, is like another potential feature where an AI native program creates something that's like a Photoshop light and builds it from the ground up to like integrate it. I think we're going to see both of those over the course of the next 5 years. And Photoshop's trying to get a big jump on things because they are out there trying to say that they're doing the whole thing in an ethical way because they stole all the license from everybody in the first place. They're like, yeah, we've got the copyrights in all your images because we stole all the copyrights when you signed the paperwork to be part of Adobe stock. So technically, we're not stealing it. We're just using the copyrights we already got from you while you weren't looking. And now they're like trying to sort of sell it back to us in a subscription service, which is kind of fucked up. And And then, like, you know, we're going to see other attempts at it where people are going to try to build these sort of generative things in, like, from the ground up, where it's like instead of you picking an entire canvas and say, make an entire program for me, there's going to be AI, like, there's already, anybody who's working with AI as an artist is, like, using it as, like, an intermediary step in their workflow, where you either take like AI outputs and like mash them together in Photoshop, or you take a work in progress and you feed it into an AI to make variations. And we're going, like, any program that's going to be AI native, I think is going to probably include a certain amount of like obvious workflows for artists, where instead of kind of tossing images in and out of a piece of software and like getting it to like trying to like take it in and out of like the software suite, it should all be happening like a single workflow inside the one suite. But I mean, we're so far away from that right now, because like I don't see this as like, I don't feel like what we're getting here is that. I feel like we're getting something different. Like this thing where you're generating these weird little patches that are kind of like emerging into the scene. And then it's trying to like stitch them into the existing design. It's so weird. And like they had this thing where they're like, oh, we're gonna where was this? Oh yeah. So it's a button that just makes another panel glow. There's this back out. Okay. Yeah, like this. Select subject. Like it's got this idea where instead of oh my god. What? It's got this idea where I'm gonna delete all this crap. You know, you could be able to like say like, oh, I want to like repose this figure, and I want to like paint on the background, and I want to get out of my way. There's like this idea that you should be able to like have this fluid workflow where you're just sort of moving at the speed of imagination. We're like, okay, well, I want to be able to like build this star field behind this character, so I should be able to like remove the background and get in there and like alter the stuff. Like, okay, now that I can see behind the character, I can make a new layer, and I could say, you know, fill this with a starry sky over an ocean. And if you see their, if you look at their like trailer for Adobe Firefly, they're showing this where it's like you have this like moving at the speed of imagination. Everything's kind of generating or moving around in these magical ways where it's almost like you're psychically controlling the canvas. But like this is what we get right now. Like this is trash. Like this is utterly worthless. And it makes me think that there's like a massive amount of room for somebody who is going to do this for real. And like I don't know if I would switch over to something like that. I really like the process of painting manually, hence why I've been doing so many studies and why I'm studying on here just about every day. Is that like I really like brushing and painting and doing all the stuff super manually. Like this idea of just sort of like having this thing psychically read my intentions and build try again with fantasy style. Yeah, sure, happy to. A fantasy illustration of a starry sky over the ocean. Like I think this image this like image that they are portraying of like what these tools are going to be could potentially exist in the future. But I don't think it's going to be from Adobe. Oh my god. I mean, this looks a little bit more correct stylistically, but this is pretty rough. Like I just can't imagine this is going to integrate into my workflow in any kind of organic way. So I'm like a lot of people I know are like super stressed about what this is all going. I don't know. I don't think that there is a replacement for best value pillars of creation back there. Yeah. It's I think that putting brushstrokes down on a canvas is going to be a thing for like the foreseeable future. I don't think that's going to change as a result of like AI generation. Certainly not Adobe's version of it. I really think, like, if I had to guess, I think that Adobe is going to absolutely get its lunch eaten by a startup that's moving faster on this idea of being able to merge manual art creation along with generative content. One of the big problems for creating a software suite like this is that it requires a ton of processing power. And like, if you want to have really good control over it, you need to do it locally. And that means that you need to have like a banging like work machine with a really big graphics card in it. So it's like, it's going to be prohibitively expensive to set up a work machine that can do this kind of stuff locally. And Photoshop appears to try to be doing it all through the web, where they own all the training data and they keep it all locked up. So I think that like in the next few years, we might see some really weird, totally unique new like ways of trying to create stuff using generative image things that like you can customize how they're trained. You can control what like the training data is and like how it's going to be displayed and how it's going to mesh along with like the brushstrokes that you make. And I don't think Adobe's ever going to catch up there. Firefly was designed to help with photo editing. Well, that's the thing. There is no Firefly. It's like this is not this Firefly is like the name of the project, but what this is it's like, you know, the neural filters is like this panel kind of hidden underneath the filters tab, and the generative AI is this like brand new context bar that I hate that is like following my cursor around whenever I try to select stuff. Let's ask it for a better painting. I really think that this is just going to be bad. I don't think Photoshop is ever going to do this. Like, it's a shame because I actually really like working in Photoshop. But I've been getting this way better. Oh, it did make a slightly better painting there. I don't know. It's so much easier for me to just go back to the old version of Photoshop and just like dump all the stuff. Let me just get my other Photoshop going here. Oh, you know what I want to do actually? I want to, well, I'm going to get this closed down forever. Get it out of my face. I want to react to some more tutorials like we were looking at yesterday, because I thought that was really interesting, and I'm going to pull up my Photoshop also to be able to give any examples like we were looking at. So I'm going to have a blank canvas here, so if there's anything I want to add to what these people are talking about, we can give some examples.
Question, Pete.
Sure.
If you don't mind. Are you going to do another portfolio review?
On Friday.
This Friday?
Yeah. Friday, we're going to do community day. Like, we're going to be setting up some new stuff with, like, the sketchbook threads. And then Friday, we're also going to be giving out the first weekly challenge prompt. So awesome. We're going to be doing weekly challenges. And this Friday, I'm going to be giving out the first prompt. And I'll also be looking at some community members' content. So we'll be checking that out. But yeah, I'm going to be doing a study later today, and so I wanted to see what would happen if I tried to do a stream without a study today, and so I wanted to look at the AI stuff on Photoshop because it's totally weird. Like, I haven't seen anybody else looking at it because it's like generally, like, even looking at AI stuff in like the art space is like kind of forbidden right now. So I want to have some eyes on it, and
I'm here till 4.
And
this is sort down. This is near mint, light play, medium play, and then everything that's non-English just goes into the card trader section, but this all needs to
Oh,
be.
Jay's just talking to somebody else.
Oh, okay.
On the server.
Okay.
I'm like wondering what he's talking about. All right.
Do you know what I'm going to do today? I'm going
All right. So we're gonna look over some tutorials. I'm gonna give my feedback. I'm gonna react to some of this stuff. I think you guys in the chat can hear it, but then on Twitch they should be hearing it just fine.
I've seen this guy video before.
I have not. I don't follow a lot of tutorial content online. I've heard of some of these, some of the people that are doing it. I've not heard most of them. So these are all brand new to me. This is a fresh react. I was looking up. I really was enjoying like short ones and ones that were like starting digital art in Photoshop, because I'm really curious how like the fundamentals are being taught.
This is my first video that I watched in my college class.
Which one?
For digital paint. That from the guy Emmett Awan earlier that you were watching.
This one?
No, back.
Did I accidentally close one of the tabs?
Oh, Lucas Pinado. Yeah, like I got his brush set though. He's pretty good. He's actually a Costa Rican like artist. He's like teaching there. Yeah, so I watched these back in like classes, so I recognize some.
Not this one. Did I just accidentally?
Yeah, it's not this one. I think you might have click off or something.
This one.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one.
to show you how
So this is where you started, huh?
Yeah, this is where it all began.
I'm sorry for the weird voices. No, I'm not.
That's my teacher back then. She doesn't even know how to do digital painting. She got like a traditional background, but she was teaching like digital painting class.
So she was just like tossing
She showed me
off
this
to
video.
the Photoshop to YouTube whenever stuff came up, being like, "Oh, you want to learn digital illustration? Here, check out this YouTube video." And you're like, "I'm really glad I'm spending like thousands of dollars on this class."
Oh, it's
All right, so you're on
it's free
Vijota.
month. It's free.
To learn these 4 things:
Okay.
brush tool, eraser tool,
Yeah, pretty much I got the
eyedropper
painting
tool,
grant, so
color
it
swatches.
doesn't matter.
Always start with making a new layer first. Go to the layer panel here.
I was thinking about this exact question of like, okay, so you're getting people started on digital art. What's the ground level things you need to learn? And so he's got this list for him
To
is
learn these 4 things: brush tool,
brush,
eraser tool,
eraser,
eyedropper,
eyedropper, color swatches. I never use color swatches, so I would say like brush. I would say brush is like 100% agree. Eraser, I would say like 50% agree on this, because the eraser tool is kind of weird. It's technically just the brush tool, but with like it does something. It like sometimes it does the background. It's just the paintbrush tool, but it's doing the background color instead of the foreground color. And then on other layers, it affects the layer alpha instead of the layer color, which is like kind of like so it's technically like the brush tool, but like not quite. Do you use Windows Ink? I do not use Windows Ink. I use WinTab for my tablet driver. Eyedropper, I think of as being also a part of the brush tool, because I use it as the alt function of the brush tool rather than as it by itself. Color swatches, I'm going to fully so eyedropper tool, I guess I agree with, but I would like I think of it as an extension of the brush tool, again, same as like the eraser. And then color swatches I've never used, so I don't think of this as being like base level thing that like you need to learn in Photoshop at the beginning. The thing I would add to this is the lasso tool. I think the lasso tool is like about as essential. Like I'd say selections, whether it's like the marquee combined with the lasso tool as like one idea, is like as critical to Photoshop as the brush tool. So to me, it's like a little galling he left it off the list.
Color swatches. Always start with making a new layer first. Go to the layer panel here and click this button. This will give you a new layer. You can double click on it to rename the layer. I'll just name it brush test. To start painting, click the brush tool here. Once selected,
Layers
you can right
is
click
super
on your
important.
canvas to open up
Totally
the brush
agree.
library. You can make your own brushes, or you can download my brush library that I've provided in the description.
You got to download the brushes. That's how they get you on the mailing list. Some of the reasons I've been thinking about making a brush set, just to get people on the mailing list.
Select the AVR file and click Open. This will load your brushes into Photoshop. You can play and experiment with these crazy brushes. Different brushes have different properties. Some of these brushes can give you a really nice textured brush stroke.
Guy's lagging hard. His brushes are lagging.
Others can be plain and smooth. Make sure you use the pressure sensitivity of your graphic tablet to get light or dark strokes.
Yeah.
You can erase your creation by selecting the eraser tool. You can quickly switch back to the brush tool using the B key. You can select different
the rainbow
colors
color picker window. I never understood that. Yeah. That is like the craziest color picker I think you could have up. Like I think there's two right answers to like what color picker you use, and that's like the third one, and I think it's flat wrong.
The hue refers to different shades of color.
But also like here's the thing that one of the fundamentals I think catches people off guard is like if you don't understand what a layer is in Photoshop, this is going to be confusing as shit. Because I'm gonna see if unmute Jay. Jay, you were talking. All right, there we go.
Yeah, that was my bad.
Yeah, you're. So I realized if I left you that way, you'd be stuck that way. So like, if you don't understand what layers are, showing that you could like make a mark and then erase it doesn't make any sense, because you assume it's like a piece of paper, right? Like number one, you're like, okay, well, why are these two things different? Like, why does this need to be on a separate layer from the background? And also, like, how come the background is showing up when I erase the thing? What does erasing do? Does it take the pixels back to where they came from? Like, what is the exact thing that's happening when we're getting here? I was trying to teach a continuing education course. This may sound all, like, very pedantic and obvious, but, like, I was trying to teach a continuing education course where it was a room full of 16-year-olds and, like, 70-year-olds. And, trying to get all like 10 people in the room to understand what a layer was in Procreate was nearly impossible. It's like breezing past it to me seems kind of insane, but it's like, I don't know, it's maybe one of those things that like it starts to make more sense as you use it personally. But yeah, if this was like for ground level beginners, like I feel like he's breezing past some of like the most important fundamental stuff here.
S is for saturation and B for brightness. The hue refers to different shades of color.
That's true.
Saturation determines how much color information you're getting.
That's a weird way to say it, but yeah.
And the brightness is of course how bright or dark the color is. If you don't see HSB sliders, you can click this icon and select it from here.
HSB sliders, boy, that's a weird. That is a weird color picker choice.
The eyedropper tool. With the eyedropper tool selected, you can click anywhere on the canvas to select a color. This selected color will appear right here. The eyedropper tool is also used for blending.
I've been using Photoshop for 20 years and still don't understand layers. Wow, I guess it's possible. Yeah.
I can blend these two together. I'm gonna select the black color and paint it over the red one very lightly. This gives me a third color in between.
Oh my god, this guy's doing it just like me. Like, this is totally different than the last tutorial we watched where it was like weird blending modes. This is how I would do it.
Get a nice blend. Let's use what we
have manual and a color picker.
Yeah, hell yeah. Did he say that it was using the Alt key though?
Now use the eyedropper tool to select.
He's just saying use the eyedropper tool. That to me is totally crazy.
I'm gonna select the black color and.
Cause okay, whoa. Watch this. Let me just slow-mo that.
Color here. I can blend these two together. I'm gonna select the black.
He says select it, but he doesn't. He's using the Alt key, but he never tells you to do that. If you were trying to follow along this at home and you were like doing this for the first time, you would have absolutely fallen off here because there's no explanation that there's like tools hidden underneath other tools using the Alt key.
Painted over the red one
just like letting people know that the Alt key exists is a gateway to being able to do another 10 years worth of digital art. And if you skip over it, it could like knock people away from this forever.
Process until you get a nice blend. Let's use what we have learned so far to create a simple digital painting.
Hell yeah.
So I'm picking up some browns from the color swatches to paint the ground and a lighter color to paint the base color of the sky. I think I'm gonna make a simple environment with our little scale dude. Some reddish browns for the distant mountains, a darker color for the top of the sky, and some basic rock formations. Here I am painting some rocks in the foreground. I am using the HSP slider to make the color darker for the foreground objects. I'm loosely painting some rock shapes here and there in the foreground.
That is one way of doing
Notice how
it.
the things farther away from the view seems lighter and the objects closer to our viewpoint seem darker. This has to do with the color values, which I'll explain in another video. But for now, let's focus on the tools that we have learned in this video. I'm adding some basic highlights.
It's tough.
and some
Like
shadows
it's
to the
hard to
rocks
figure
add
out
more
what
depth.
you're supposed to be
I'm doing
doing
this by first selecting the base color
because
of the
there's like
rock,
so many
then
interlocking
adjusting
skills.
the
It's like
brightness
how do you
slider to
demonstrate
change
a
to
landscape
darker
painting
brown
without
for the
explaining
shadows, and a
perspective
lighter
and like
brown for the
atmosphere?
highlights. Now it's time to paint our little scale figure for the environment, which is always fun to do. Some more rocks in the foreground surrounding our little figure there. The sky kind of looked empty, so I
Yeah,
added a huge moon.
Hardly
Maybe
teaching,
it's
more like
another
talking
planet?
over his
Not sure.
time lapse. There's a lot.
In the
Like
end,
how
let's
do
give
you
our
really
figure
teach
a
without it
little
turning into
friend,
like
'cause
and then draw the
everybody
rest of the
needs a friend,
fucking
right?
owl?
I'm sure there are some people who would get the reference. That is everything you need to learn to start painting right now.
Okay.
Please keep in mind that this is a
I mean, this is a decent start. Like I would say this tutorial seems like it's pretty
beginner
good.
level tutorial for a simple digital painting.
This
Just
is
to
a
get you
tutorial. I
familiar
think
with
you
the
search
basic
up like how to
tools.
do
I'll
digital painting, and then this is the first option that came up.
Yeah, it's like it's got 800,000 views. I mean, solid. Photoshop is on here.
I remember.
Brother, I'll be becoming the
I
next digital Picasso. Okay.
saw that in the comment.
What a weird comment. Social media guy at Photoshop. Okay, sure. All right.
Right. Oh yeah, I got that book that says "Beginner Guide to Digital Painting in Photoshop" second edition by
Yeah.
3D Total Publishing. Right. So that's what the class was about, and the first introduction was watching this video for the first 5 minutes, and then read the whole
weird.
book like afterward to get the sense of like what the layer is and eyedropper tool.
But also,
Like,
like,
the
the
book-
brushes he's using are mimicking like a traditional style, which I find to be a really weird choice for introducing digital art, because it presumes that like you're going to be trying to imitate traditional painting looks,
Indeed.
but
It's like
it like finding a textured brush that like is easy to control, that like creates something that looks really natural like that is kind of hard. Like if you just be like, try out some brushes and use the one you like. Like I have a hard time with that as somebody who has 20 years experience in Photoshop. So I would never leave a beginner just be like, just dig through 1,000 brushes and find one that works well for you.
right. It's like it can be very overwhelming.
Yeah.
And at the time, half of my class doesn't even know how to use like brushes. Oh, I have no sounds for this one.
All right. How to Paint a Character in 7 Steps by Lucas Peinador. If you guys have any
This
tutorials
is
you want
how
me
I
to react
met-
to, feel free to drop them in chat, by the way.
This is how I met Gonzo. I think you did a review for his portfolio before.
Yeah?
Yeah, like I met Gonzo at his Discord from this guy.
Oh, this guy's Discord?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he gave out like free brush pack for like everyone in there, and it's like a token of friendship. I love it.
Oh my god. There's so much like giving out brush pack stuff. It's just like I'm telling you, the one big secret to giving out all those brush packs, it is just like an easy way to get a bunch of mailing list signups. If you want to get in the inbox of a bunch of people who are curious about art, you give away brush packs. Like that's what it's there for. Oh, and we're in Procreate today. Okay.
Talked about it in other videos, but it is super important, and I'm going to say it again. Before making contact with your paper or iPad or whatever you're gonna use, Google that thing that you're about to paint. It doesn't matter what it is. Paper, snow, a ghost. If you paint only what you have in your mind, you're going to be using the
Okay,
information that you
so
already have
what's he going on about? He's talking about using reference. He's like, don't just try to draw it out of your head. Try to like find reference material.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, it's fair.
But like the references you look up are just like other like IP and other artworks. Like in my concept art class, like we don't want to do that. We want to look for like real life like references because like that's more important to get the colors right. At least like design wise though.
Yeah, I like to look for reference that's outside my medium. So like if I'm like doing figurative stuff, I'm going to be looking at like a lot of like fashion photography rather than at like other like fantasy illustration. Because it's like it's really easy to accidentally make a kind of derivative of a derivative when you are working entirely from reference from within your own space.
If you're going to leave the lines in your painting, then better you do them with some care. But if you're gonna leave them, then don't stress.
Also, it's when you start like doing this, and the first like reference like groups that you're looking for just from the other like medium like books, anime and whatnot. Like you just like get that artist to develop like a style that's like similar to that.
Yeah.
Not developing their own style. Like concept art classes that I took, like we don't want to do that. But like.
Oh, but here we go. Like he's using an actual photo of a shoe instead of like a drawing of a shoe, which is exactly what I would do in this situation. I think that's really good.
I guess this is one like if you're up for doing fan art character.
Favorite brush completely for free. Okay, so let's get back to the video. The lines are almost done, and I decided to
still using his brush to this day though. His brush set is pretty good.
I've seen a lot of digital artists like feel like they need to start with clean drawing. Is he actually going to ink this? I've seen a lot of digital artists feel like they need to start with like a super clean line drawing like this and like do like a nice clean pencil and then do a really good ink over the top. Oh, he's just doing them for fills? Okay. It's a pretty good idea.
I think he does painting, so that's just his style.
Like around the whole thing and then feeling it from the inside is way faster than trying to go and feel the whole thing like with your brush. Believe me, it is way faster, so give that a try. And another thing is that here the colors don't matter.
Yeah, this is where I would, like for these kinds of fills and stuff, this is where I would probably just use the lasso tool rather than paint it in and do a fill. But it's I'm not sure how I've only worked with Procreate a limited amount. It's got a lasso tool. I'm wondering if maybe it's just an easier flow to be working with the brush first. In Photoshop, I would definitely lasso for this stuff. Oh, he's flatting everything. This is really common in the comic book world because a lot of the coloring is being done with like gradients and stuff. So you see a lot of like my wife was working briefly as a flatter for a comic project where her job was to go in and just make flat colors that filled in along with clean line work. And it was Procreate is planning something new and big in the 8th of September. We'll see. First time chair, Leandro is saying, yeah, exclamation mark brushes. That doesn't do anything. I don't have any brushes. I should add that. I'll send everybody my brushes because there's like 5 of them. I mean, there's really only 2 that I use for real. So the other ones are just kind of effect brushes. But yeah, like in the comic book industry, like they'll have to like try to keep the colors contained inside the ink lines really precisely. So in order to get that started, they'll have somebody who's separate from the colorist often do just lassoing in all the different color fields and then filling them flat so that there's areas that the colorist can then cleanly select in order to do the rendering afterwards. So there's somebody getting paid, $3 an hour more or less to like go through and flat all these pages. Like you have to go through and select every single color field in the entire space and you get paid like maybe $20 a page. It's like very, very little pay for the total amount of work you do. And then it makes it so you can do like really clean rendering inside these like predefined color zones really quick after the fact. But like doing them for yourself can be a little tedious. It's definitely a way to work, but like in comics they tend to like keep them as separate things because it's like they end up having to do a lot. The colorists end up having to do a lot of work on top of like defining these color fields, and it can be pretty tedious getting every single inch of it clean. Once you have it, though, I mean, you can see he's able to blast through a lot of this rendering stuff pretty quick. Hey, Nexty.
Then you're in a good spot to add the details that you didn't add before. Things like the spiderweb texture on his mask and on his gloves, and also the wrinkles on his coat and pants. Step 6, time to add some shines. I love this part of the painting.
I would like to see his layer panel while he's talking about all this stuff. I feel like if I were trying to follow this tutorial, I'd have a really hard time figuring out what's going on without being able to see the layer panel clearly.
They were made out of Play-Doh or something. But I love to add some shines to my characters. A bit of material difference can make your characters pop. So I decided that the pants and the jacket were going to be slightly shiny, and of course the belt buckle and the zipper were going to be reflective. So I put some sharp whites on the corners of the material to give it the feeling that it was looking directly at the light. So our painting is looking good, but we're missing the last push, and this is the step that will make your painting stand out. Step 7 is post-production. Let's start by adding a couple of graphics.
Gotta throw those effects on you if you want to get the likes, comments, and subscribes.
So the first thing that I wanted to add was a Spidey sense coming out of the PS5 controller. I just thought it would be cool. Second, I wanted Miles to have a red and blue light around him, so I'm going to teach you how to add a super cool and super easy rib light in your characters. You will want to duplicate your whole
Oh, there's the layers tab.
Blue or whatever the color you want.
Now it's gone. Goodbye.
And then put a mask on
layer tab.
where you want to have the light painted white and where you don't want to have the light painted black. It's super easy to do and it gives really nice results. I did this step 2 more times, one with a red light from the front and another one with a magenta from the Spidey sense. Last but very important,
What?
I had to try some of those.
Wow, it skipped a lot of steps there. Wait. No, is this a brush? What's going on?
In the shadows and a glitch effect to make it look like the Spider-Verse movie. And there you go. That was painting Miles Morales in Procreate.
I'm like totally not following what's going on, especially with those last couple of steps.
It's a glitch effect.
A glitch effect? So it's just like a brush that just adds glitch effect?
No, it's not a brush. It's an effect.
An effect.
It's where the Gaussian blur is. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's like a filter.
Glitch. It's a filter. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's an effect that you can brush in.
Okay. Weird. Yeah.
That's it for me, guys. Thank you very much for watching this video till the end.
Weird. I don't know. Procreate is always mysterious to me. It's like it stinks at some stuff, but it's faster at other stuff, and so like the workflow for it shifts really strongly from like areas where I'm familiar to stuff that I just like I don't pay as close attention to. Let's see. This one's 2 minutes. The 1 minute digital paint tutorial that will teach you more than you expect.
How to paint skin in Photoshop. A lazy digital art tutorial. Open up Photoshop and import your drawing. Or if you're feeling good with yourself, rough in a quick sketch to get started.
This guy.
Think of a base skin tone for your painting. I usually tend to use lighter colors with a little bit of saturation at this stage. Nothing too fancy. Create a new layer and make a mask of your drawing with the color of your skin. Create a new layer and clip it to your skin layer by hovering between the lines separating both layers while holding Alt. There.
Content.
What's that?
I think like this guy, like he does more reaction content now than like art educational.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He's a comic book colorist or flatter.
Oh, okay. It's I'm glad that so he's using clipping masks. We've talked about clipping masks keep coming up over and over and over again. This is the first guy that's actually showed how to do them. There's actually like 3 different ways to create a clipping mask. Like if we wanted to have a base tone here, and then oh my god, I need to have it on layer. And then like have a clipping mask that's going to allow us to like add rendering on that layer alone. Let's do it with shadow. There we go. Like the fact that it's you can see it's jogged over here and attached to the layer. This is what they're talking about. This is what the last guy was doing a bunch of for the layer effects for the Miles Morales piece. This was what the weird Korean thing was yesterday. There was a ton of this. The hotkey for Photoshop CS6 is Control-Alt-G, which is weird, but I've built up a muscle memory for being able to hit it like this. The way that he's demonstrating doing it is holding the Alt key when you're like in the area between the two layers and clicking. That would work too. And then the other way is through the menu, where I think if you go to Layer and you go to, is it under Layer? I thought it was under Layer. No, it's...
You giving somebody in Twitch a tutorial, or is this tutorial React?
The tutorial Reacts. Where's the clipping mask in the menu? I thought it was under Layer.
God, it's been a while since I've used Photoshop. I thought clipping masks were in the like layers Docker or whatever.
It's there too, but it should be under Layer. Oh, whatever. Oh wait. Create clipping mask. Control-Alt-G. There it is. Create clipping mask. That's like anything that's in the menus is always like the mega hard way of doing it. But yeah, I Control-Alt-G, or if you're on a Mac, Command-Alt-G. That's where it's going to end up doing it. But yeah, that's like, this comes up over and over again in these tutorials. They breeze right past it. This guy is actually like pointing it out.
You just created a little clipping mask.
It's a super powerful tool.
Now paint in the other elements in your image like hair, eyes, lips, and eyebrows. Make sure to keep your colors light and not too saturated. Never go too dark with the hair. Paint in some reflected colors in the hair. Your image should be looking pretty flat at this stage. You're doing great. Create a new layer. Set this layer on multiply and clip it at the top of the rest of the layers. You're going to paint your shadows on this layer. To get the colors of your shadows, look at the color of your highlights. If they are cool and look bluish, your shadows will be warmer. Oh, by the way, I'm using reference here, just in case you didn't figure that out by now. Choose a light orange color and start painting your shadows. I like to think in planes to represent where the shadows sit on the face and the body. Choose a darker color and start painting in the darker shadows.
Whenever I jump into a bunch of color blocks as a beginning thing, the results are horrible. I backslide like 8 years in terms of my ability to like draw.
Well, he's saying he's got a reference over on the other side. Like, yeah, if you start with a reference and you start with the strong drawing, like I think that these kind of like loose blocks of color would work out just fine. It's just like if you try to like do all this out of your head, where you start off with a weak drawing and then you try to like just guess at this sort of thing, like of course the results are going to look terrible. Like, because when you're doing something that's really simple like this, it's actually like harder to make it look elegant and nice and natural. So like you have to have everything going for you to make sure that like these kinds of simple marks are actually going to produce these kinds of very elegant results.
At your reference, and don't forget to squint. Use a soft round brush to blend in some of the shadows. Go over the edges slowly and smoothly, working on the transitions. This is pretty much the hardest part of the...
So now we've got multiple tutorials recommending the soft round brush. Like, it seems like everyone in the world is using the soft round brush besides me. What the hell? Like, am I the one person that whenever I touch the soft round brush, it makes my art look bad, and everyone else has just been leaning on it the whole time?
After this, merge everything together on a...
Wait. He just went... That was a big jump. What happened?
Squint. Use a soft round brush to blend in some of the shadows. Go over the edges slowly and smoothly, working on the transitions. This is pretty much the hardest part of the painting. After this, merge everything together on another layer by using Command-Shift-Alt-E or Control-Shift-Alt-E on Windows. Continue painting, going back and forth with your reference and using
Control-Shift-Alt-E. What does that do?
After this, merge everything together on another layer by using Command-Shift-Alt-E or Control-Shift-Alt-E on Windows. Continue painting, going back and forth with your reference and using the colors you have already established in your image. Use a variety of brushes to create...
Okay. So like if you're on the base layer of if there's you have a stack of layers that are all held together with a clipping mask like this, and it's like your highlights and your shadows and your rendering like all on separate layers inside a stack with a clipping mask, all tying them down to the base down here. If you want to bake them down into the base layer, you just hit Control-E. Like Control Shift Alt E, like Shift Control E does the whole stack down to the background, so it completely flattens the whole image. But if you just do Control E is to merge, normally merges one layer straight down into the one below it. That's just merge down. But if you do a merge down when you have a clipping mask, it merges the entire clipping mask stack. Which I think is what he's advocating here, but I think he's got the more complicated hotkey for it. You say Shift Alt Control E? Whoa. What the fuck? It's making a merged copy. So merged copy kind of works. Let's see. So like if you wanted to preserve what your layers all looked like, but you needed to merge them down for whatever reason into a single layer, you could do that hotkey and it would make a copy of everything you have and then make a new copy up on the top. So if you wanted to like really push forward with your image, but you didn't want to like screw up the layers you've been building up to this point, Shift Alt Control E would be the way you'd do it. I would probably do the long way to do it would be to select all, copy merge, and then paste in place, which is 3 hotkeys in a row that I have muscle memory for. Control A, Shift Control C, Shift Control V. I guess that Shift Alt Control E does like all in one go. It doesn't come up that often that I've actually learned that. That's interesting.
A contrast, a hard brush for sharper defined edges, and a soft brush for smoother transitions. Study your reference closely. Paint in your highlights. Since my shadows are warm, I'm using a light and desaturated purple for my highlights. Keep painting and observing your reference. This is generally how I approach studies when it comes to painting skin. Don't overcomplicate things and confuse yourself.
That was so weird. 1 minute digital painting tutorial to teach you more than you expect. The answer is like, teach me more than I expect. Yeah, I did learn like a new hotkey for this. So this was genuinely more than I expected out of it. And like, I actually think that there's like everything in this tutorial is like really good, but it for a beginner, I think you'd probably miss where like he's doing the nuanced things that are like the sort of thing a beginner might get wrong that he's like saying correct.
And edges like, and a soft brush for smoother transitions.
He's talking about, you know, you need to make sure that you are treating soft edges and hard edges differently. This is really, really key.
Study your reference closely.
You got to be using reference. This is also really key. It's all very offhanded, but it's all like actually really good advice.
Since my shadows are warm, I'm using a light and desaturated purple.
Yeah, and then he's using a cool color to like, he's got a warm shadow, and so he's using a cool highlight, which is adding additional color depth. Also a really, really good idea. So like, I think it's like all really good advice, but it's so offhanded and it's provided without context. I think that the average beginner is probably going to miss the reasons why this is actually a pretty good tutorial. But yeah, I think that one's actually pretty great. What do we got? 15 minutes on this one. If you guys in the chat have any tutorials you want me to react to, I would love to be able to see what you guys are interested in. Eric
really
Anthony J.
Where the guy just did like 3 paintings on top of one another.
So when I'm painting skin and how to make
line
it
art
look
was one of
believable.
them. Just like painting.
Oh wait, yeah,
line
yeah.
art.
Oh wait. Oh, Sam does art. Yeah, I know Sam. I've seen Sam does art, but I've never seen his tutorials before. Much of Photoshop tutorial, but Sam does art on how to draw faces in profile view due to controversial do's and don'ts of art.
These checkmark and X art rules, it's all a bunch of nonsense. These checkmark and X art rules, it's all a bunch of nonsense.
All a bunch of
they
nonsense.
Don't work.
It's all a bunch of
testing.
bull.
What's up, guys? Today we're going to be taking a deep dive into this
gonna
art
put
tip right
this
here. It's
guy
been making its way around the art community.
The sidebar chat.
Huh?
I'm gonna put this YouTube link here in the sidebar chat if you want tutorial to react to.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's in the live on Twitch chat.
Okay. Phil's design corner.
Yeah, his videos are 1 hour long.
Oh, an hour long? I don't think we're gonna be able to react the whole thing.
Yeah.
What? I saw this recently where people were like the racist triangle or something, and I'm like, oh man, Twitter's at it again.
Why is it called racist triangle?
That like if you draw a face where it's like the features fit inside here, you're like drawing racist or something. I don't know.
Drama, it's been making people mad, and understandably so, because this drawing method was specifically applied to a black person, which just
are you guys getting me in trouble? Are you guys getting me in trouble with this fucking recommendation? Creative Caliber, is this you? Yes, the racist triangle. Oh my god.
I just failed to see anything that's racist.
Okay, we're gonna make a trade deal. The best trade deal ever. I'm not here today to cover the drama. I don't care about the drama. I'm here to learn, and I'm hoping that you're here to learn as well. You're here to learn, right?
Sure, sometimes.
So we're gonna get right into the problem. These art rules, okay? These checkmark and X art rules, they don't work. They're not rules. Let's take a look at this drawing, for example. Tip of the nose, tip of the chin. Connect that line. You can see nothing goes outside of that line.
Man, he's drawing straight
like
lines.
It works in this case. But pan over, look at this piece from the Spider-Verse movie. Tip of the nose, tip of the chin, connect that line. What is all that? Is this piece wrong? I don't think so, but that method doesn't seem to work here. Now, what if we just pan over to this drawing, okay? Tip of the nose, tip of the chin, you connect that line. What's going on here? I mean, could this be an art style thing? Could this just be the way the artist drew the character? Well, apparently not.
You know,
Here's
we'll see. We'll find
picture,
out.
Okay, tip of the nose, tip of the chin. Connect this down.
I don't know.
Look
I've just been
at
living in
that. The main problem with this is
pod
because I see a lot
past
of people perpetuating
my
this
entire
way
life.
of drawing
I
characters.
have no idea what a face looks like.
Yeah, I mean, I've just when you're raised on World of Warcraft by a gang of gay Australians, you don't know what real people look like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just
Characters and using it almost as if
Here's the thing I don't get is like, okay, so like I don't get this diagram at all because it's like it's like, okay, the features are either following this line, but where's this line coming from? Like I get like the tip of the nose to the tip of the chin, but like the WTF isn't connecting to the tip of the chin. It's connecting to this arbitrary like construction line over here. I don't understand what the construction line is intended to represent.
I think it's the same line as the other one. It's just that they're like, oh, this person did it wrong because look at how far their chin is.
Wait, but I don't get the yes here because it's like these are two faces where this person has a shallow chin and this person has a protruding chin. It's like my friend Sean and I have opposite chins where my chin goes like way back. I've got like no chin and he has like the Quentin Tarantino jaw, right? And you can't say like he's got a correct, I've got a correct chin and he's got an incorrect chin. Like people are just shaped different. I do not understand where this construction line's coming from or what the whole point of this is supposed to be.
It were a rule.
So I think I'm on Sam's side
the
here.
The purpose of this method in the first place. Now, I personally draw with this method. I know a lot of artists do as well. You start with an oval, you come down, jawline at the front, add a triangle for the nose, and boom, you added some details. You erase away some of your guidelines, and this works just fine for drawing your characters. And notice what I call these lines just now. Guidelines. This oval, this triangle, the placement of all of these elements is just a way to help you learn, to make it easier for you to draw your characters. So my friend here, my beautiful big booty shorts wearing Ethan Becker, he made a video recently that really, really inspired me.
I hate black people, and I hate white people, and I also hate women and children. So I want to share with you this new technique called the anti-racist triangle. But before, and so what I found, this is the little secret.
This guy's whole edgy thing is not
down to the lip.
Is not
and then
like
that goes
doing
down to the
him
chin,
any favors.
and now
Is not
you
making
have
me like
basically
him
the
more.
same triangle. Then you go from the top of the dink down to the chin, of course. Boom to the nose.
What?
Now let's go to the eye. And then we'll make another little
I don't
triangle
understand
right
this.
Guideline, eyeball, boom.
What is this geometry? Where is this coming
Perfect,
from?
down to the chin.
Am I
Little
bad at
nose
drawing
there.
that I don't know
Whoa,
what
what's
all of
that?
these things
Boom,
are? What are
boom,
these
we got
things?
the neck.
It's just
back
making it
skull
so
here,
harder than
cool
it should
hairdo.
be.
I don't know. Let's put a little choker on this sucker. Yeah, that's cute.
That's absolutely brilliant. Something
Is it
so
brilliant?
beautiful
Guy?
and such
Brilliant.
a simple fix. I'm just gonna draw out a sketch here.
I'm
and
just
let's
gonna draw
try
a
to
line
follow
here and a
Ethan's
line
method,
here
okay?
and a
Let's
line
see
here,
what
and
it
look,
actually does.
you're
so
the
here's the
racist
tip of the
now.
nose. Now we're gonna draw
You guys
a line
know the
down
moat
from
guy?
the eye.
He like
and then
hangs out
connect it
on a
down.
lot of art discords. Do you know what I'm talking
The
about?
moat guy?
Yeah. His like picture on Discord is like a pixel art Michael Jackson.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Is there
no.
a connection here, or are you just making an interjection?
there is a connection. He's the guy's like an animator, I think. And he's able to do like really, really good, clean drawings really fast. And he's very like generous with his time and offers a lot of advice to like beginners and stuff like that. And he will like go on these like huge detailed tirades about like constructing different faces from different angles and stuff. I feel like that man might be able to decipher this.
Onto the chin. So this is going to be our extra triangle, and within this triangle we can add the shape of the lips as well as the chin, and boom, I mean, look at the difference here, right? It's just fantastic, and it's so simple. But here's the thing, if you guys don't like using a bunch of triangles like Daddy Ethan does, don't worry, there are other ways that you can figure this out. In this head there are two major shapes, so this big cranium and this shape for the front of the face, right? If you trace the curve of this cranium down to the nose, continue that curve all the way down to the chin. You can see that on a more Caucasian looking character, in most cases the lips are gonna sit somewhere along that straight line. But, and big but here, if we take our black character, we take this round shape for the cranium, we curve this line down across the tip of the nose, and then we go all the way down to the tip of the chin. You guys see how naturally the lips sit along this curve instead of this straight? So if this character were to be Caucasian or Asian, for example, the lips might be sitting somewhere back here and the chin might be a little bit back there. But with black characters, just like how Ethan pointed out, the face does have a different shape. They tend to pull forward a little bit more. They tend to have fuller lips. So I've been studying this and practicing this for a bit, and I just want to give you guys another option to go about this. Take this oval, follow the shape of the forehead, down to the tip of the nose, curve this line all the way down to the chin, and that should actually give you just a general idea of where the lips should be sitting on your character. Now if we come up here to Judy and do the same thing, so the tip of the nose, tip of the chin, just like that, you can see this does not work. The lips don't fill all of that space. They don't fill that silhouette because this comes down in more of a straight line. Here, check this one out. Round cranium, follow that curve to the tip of the nose, curve it down to the tip of the chin. Look how the lips fill out this space. But once again, this is not a rule. This is just a guideline, okay? Take this for example. Let's take this curve, tip of the nose, curve it down to the tip of the chin. This extends beyond that curve, and yet it still looks fantastic.
So the rule here is that, like, sometimes you follow a line, and sometimes it's past the line, and sometimes it doesn't meet the line. So it's like, there's.
Oh, I just remembered something.
What?
Sorry, finish your thing.
There's no rule. Like this, it's like, okay, well, sometimes you draw it big, and sometimes you draw it small. And
I remember what the Moat guy said.
What?
He said kind of what you're saying. Basically, he was reacting to a bunch of people who were giving tutorial guidelines for like drawing faces in Profile, and what he said was all this stuff is useless. All you need to remember is the plane changes. Right? You have the brow ridge, and there's a plane change as it like travels in, where and then it meets the like beginning of the bridge of the nose, and then it like comes out again, and then it comes in for the bottom of the nose, and then out for the top lip, and then into the middle of the lips, and then I don't know why I'm moving my finger all over my face. You
yeah,
guys
we can't see what you're doing.
But yeah, it's like a bunch of plane changes, right? As long as you have the correct number of plane changes represented.
Yeah, so you got a forehead, and then you go in for this, and then you go out for the nose, and you go back in for the nose, and you go out for the lips, and you go back in for the lips, and you go out for the lips, back in for the chin, and then you go whoop, and you got yourself an Easter Island head, right?
And as long as you have those changes represented,
it's easy to draw a moai.
Literally whatever. Yeah.
Right.
And he did a bunch of demos where he like drew a bunch of crazy, like he drew those plane changes on a bunch of crazy shapes, and all of them looked like faces.
Exactly. Like that's okay. So the thing that drives me a little crazy about all this is because like, you know, as you like over time, like you develop like a kind of default proportion that like ends up being like, you know, you sort of develop a feel for it that's like particular to you, and so like you know this ends up becoming like part of your style. Like one of the things that's true about Sam's art is that he has like a particular style that is like easy, like that's easy to pick out, and part of it is like the proportions of the way that his characters look in Profile. and it's just like a matter of his aesthetic preference and like the way that he naturally does this. What I found is that like if I go into a pencil drawing of something that looks like this, I can get it pretty similar just about every time. But then if I go and actually try to like do a character that's going to have a particular look, I end up having to go back to the reference to make a bunch of corrections that change the look of the profile a lot. Like you can end up with really, really different feeling personalities without having to change very much at all. And they're all kind of correct in their own way, but they're like, they tend to stylize differently depending on like, what race they're supposed to be, the artist's hand, like the level of stylization. Like if you're doing something that's Disney style versus like a more like Cal Art style versus something that's like fully realistic, all these things are going to change completely. And so you could try to break down to say that like I drew a triangle and therefore you're the racist. But like it's not that useful, I think, especially for beginners. I think that saying, yeah, you just need to get this, you're just going to do a seesaw, and as long as you seesaw enough times correctly, you will end up with something that looks kind of like a face. And it doesn't, like, it really doesn't matter like what you do, because you're going to end up with something that looks like a moai head if you just like, keep it, just like make it rectangular shaped in the end. But like it's like if you want something that's going to be a particular style, like just pull up the reference and try to figure out like what is establishing that style. Are we going to see something? Are we going to see a really, really long bridge to the nose? Are we going to see like for some people they have almost no indent here, that the nose bridge goes out like I've known people who have like this like really, really long nose bridge like this, and like you can see like when somebody's really good at caricature, they can exaggerate these like subtle differences in the way that this stuff all plays out, and be able to like nail like the general appearance of somebody's personality based off of the way that they exaggerate these different ins and outs. So like getting so fussed over these guidelines is like, to me, feels like the absolute worst way to go about this. How did I clicked on a thing and now it all went away. Was it from Discord? Was it from Twitch chat? I clicked on a Twitch chat. I don't have the fucking tab open again.
It doesn't feel right, because like the whole premise of art is like creating like interesting new things. And I feel like if you have such a rigid structure, that kind of eliminates all that.
Yeah, like,
and how
I think do it wrong. I say do it wrong in your own special way, and do it wrong a whole bunch of times in your own special way, because like people are always asking like, how do I build a style? It's like styles are simply just an accumulation of all the stuff that you do incorrectly. Like you don't, like the whole point here is like we want to create interesting stylized work that represents our vision, not a perfect representation of like a photo. Like, and by being overly rigid about these kinds of things, like you are like stunting your ability to discover the ways that you can like stylize and make this stuff interesting. I'd say like do it wrong. Like be bad. Be a bad boy.
It still looks believable. That's the thing with these art rules. You should never treat them as rules that you cannot break. They should be taken as guides. And sometimes we have to modify our guides to fit the ethnicities of our characters.
This drawing looks crazy. This eye this eye is in a crazy spot.
This is perfectly fine. The problem in this piece might actually be the placement of the eye. Now here's a great example of a young Asian boy. Let's break it down, okay? Let's do this cranium shape, jaw shape. So that's what we have so far. Looks pretty familiar, right? Now we're gonna turn our attention to the front of the face. Tip of the nose, right? We're making that triangle shape down to the tip of the chin. And look what happens. The lips are small. So my mind was actually blown by this when I saw Ethan's video, and I want to just quickly show you guys the difference that this can make for your characters. So I'm gonna just draw myself. So you see, that was kind of following this method right here. But now we're going to try to make those modifications to this method. So I'm going to slide down across the forehead, tip of the nose, and curve this line, follow this natural curve down to the tip of the chin. Get rid of these lines that I've set down.
I'm guessing I'm trying to figure out what he's doing here. Is he going to give himself big kissable lips? Is that what his tutorial is right now? Like how to draw yourself with like super kissable lips?
Previously, we're going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, down to the chin, and of course we have to change the eyes.
Is this all about his insecurity about his lips not being full enough? What's going on?
That's no longer an Asian guy, right? Now say we take this guy for example, okay? We're gonna get that round shape, get the shape of the jaw right there. And as you can see here, the lips do not extend beyond the point of the nose and the point of that chin. So you can comfortably add in your lips right there. Let's come up to this piece now. Let's try that again. Oval shape coming down to the front of the face. There's gonna be our jawline. Connect it to the shape of your neck. And let's find the tip of that nose connected down to the chin. And there's the tip of the nose.
What?
It kind of just looks like a loom set.
Like a what shape?
A Loomis head.
Connected to the tip of the chin. If we just did the same method as before, this is not going to work. He's going to look Caucasian. Or you can add a curve in front, connect it to the tip of the nose, and let this be a guide on where you can put your lips. We don't want the straight line here. Now I'm going to use this curve not as a rule, but as a guide.
I'll tell you where you can put your lips.
Stop. That was horrible.
So coming down this way, the lip's gonna curve up like this, and the lower lip's gonna come out of the silhouette a bit, and then it's gonna go down into the shape of that chin. And now after getting rid of our guidelines, there's the profile for your character. So these are a couple of other drawings using the
I don't think he was that close.
I mean, you can try
I don't think it was
yourself,
that.
Okay, do it along with me.
I would have taken another take on that. I don't think he actually did the close to that reference that time.
Your pen right now. I'll wait for you. Come on, do it.
Oh, ads. We're not logged in as me, so I'm getting some awesome ads for cheese.
Get styled with Stitch Fix.
Oh,
First,
brutal.
tell us how you like clothes to fit, how much you want to spend, and your style preferences.
Get out of here.
So start with an oval, shield shape, jawline, connected down to the chin. So you should have something like that. Point for your nose, straight down to the chin, and then we're gonna add in the shape of the forehead. Let's add in the eyebrow. Let's add in the eye. Now that you have the eyeball, bring your attention over to the ear. It should about line up with the top of the eyelid, just like that. So there's the ear for your character and connected down to the jawline. Let's get a shape down here for the neck, kind of like that. That looks pretty good. Now, here's the fun part, okay? You're gonna add the nose, the nostril, just like so. I'm gonna trace this curve down, fill in this silhouette all the way down to the tip of the chin right here. After this point, we can get rid of this straight line because it's not gonna help us anymore. So here in this space, I'm gonna just draw a line down from the cheekbone. That's kind of how I like to line up the upper lip, and then there's the lower lip coming down. I'm going to erase away these guidelines, okay? Just gently get them out of the way so you can see the beautiful black character that you've created with a simple change to this tried and true method of drawing heads. There you go, you know, and then you can have fun. You can add a hairstyle, you can do your own thing, do whatever you want with it. It's crazy. It's such a small change. All right, so I just wanted to share this with you guys. I'm gonna link Ethan's video below so you can learn from him as well. But nonetheless, he just absolutely inspired me to look at this method from a slightly different perspective, and it's mind-blowing the results that you can get by making slight changes. But now I wanna pitch in a little bit of my own thoughts on it.
I mean, look at this. This is exact. I mean, this is why all these rules to me feel like a total waste, because we have a character design here from one of the most incredible animated movies of all time, and it doesn't even come close to like these formulas that are being described. Like you can see when you start to stylize stuff, you're going to end up with results that are miles apart from what the classical recommendations are. And it can be like a masterpiece. So like
at the end here on
I'm curious what he's going to say about this, because it's like this is all this drawing from guidelines that he's advocating for here. It feels like this like runs completely counter to it.
Tips that are considered rules. At the end of the day, you draw however you want, and there's no such thing as a rule, okay? It's just a bunch of nonsense. Look at these beautifully shaped Ghibli characters. Big round cranium, tip the nose. What is that, huh? There's another circle in here. They don't follow that method, that traditional anime method at all. Tip the nose. That's a big circle right there. And Ilya Kushinov, who drew this beautiful anime-style Judy. Guess what else he did? He drew a Japanese man on the subway, and tip of the nose, tip of the chin. There's always exceptions to this rule. That's why it's not a rule, and we can always go beyond the boundaries of these checkmark X art tips. It's all a bunch of nonsense. There's no more nuance in this world. There's no more deeper.
See, look at this. Like this is you don't even need to get the right number of zigzags in and out to be able to create a silhouette. Like you can basically take just about any curvy line and turn it into a silhouette as long as you dress it up right. Like when we start looking at the world not as like, some minor variation on some established rules, but actually breaking down like the way that we see things for ourselves, like it is possible to create more interesting, more diverse, like, view of artwork that like has a genuine sense of like personality to it.
Thinking, like, look at this. What is that? What is that? Cynics, I mean, come on, cynics. Look at, you know how I always talk about the eyes and how the space between the eyes should be about the length of one single eye? Look at cynics. Okay, look at how he masterfully destroys that rule. Look at this. You can fit like 7 eyes in here. Come on, cynics, get it together. But my point is, it works. These are not hard set rules. They're learning guides. They're just here to help you out. That's it. And look at this beautiful picture right here that I got with my favorite creators. Okay, what's going on here? Tip of Ethan's nose. Tip of Ethan's chin. Oh my God. I mean, honestly, I'm just super inspired by Ethan's simple fix to this method. Really, adding some of these methods into the base of your drawings can be super helpful, especially if you're a beginner and you're not sure how to approach it. So hopefully this video has helped you guys out. And yeah, I mean, that's that. I'll see you guys on the next video.
All right. There was one more video that I got given to me from the chat. I got to figure out where it ended up. I'm going to close this down. There's one in the text chat. Here we go. Phil's Design Corner from Min K. Was there a particular video, or was this just like... Oh, this is just the featured, so... What do we got? Oh, these are all like an hour long. All right, so we're not gonna be able to get into an hour-long video. I gotta close down the stream. I'm gonna try to I'm gonna be looking around at some tutorials and stuff, and if you guys have any that you want me to react to that have something really interesting in them, I'd love to be able to give my take on this stuff. And but I'm gonna close it down for now. When it comes to like drawing faces, especially faces in profile, I really think that it's worth playing around and getting experimental with it. There's like so many facial aesthetics and styles that are possible, and like I find that each of our hands kind of like naturally discovers like a different like silhouette. Like and there's some really interesting stylized ones out there, and it's like it doesn't need to necessarily represent who we are personally, but there are like so many really, really interesting ways of drawing people, and there's so many like interesting exaggerations and like little features and trends that we can all pick out for ourselves. Like just be open-minded and have fun with it. Like it's just like what Sam was saying, it's like it's not about finding these set of rules and finding tutorials and then like following them closely. This is a matter of our own personal exploration to discover what's going to work in these sorts of spaces. As art is about personal expression at the end of the day. So that's it for today's stream. It was a different stream today. I'm going to go back to doing studies. This was like harder. I'm going to hang out and do studies. Like I'm going to be back tomorrow doing the studies as regular. And I'm probably going to do that again going forwards. I don't know what I'm going to do on Tuesdays. If I might just do double studies each day. Honestly, it might be preferable. Like me trying to like do the day without the stream without the study is like feeling like way harder. So I'll be getting back to that. And yeah, I'll see you then. Goodbye.